Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
see, Mac.
Yeah.
It's very personal. All right, so once again, in person, we have Mindy, Katie, Shanna, Tony. Online, we have Megan, Courtney, Holly, and Sage. Others may join. I don't have the minutes from the previous meeting, so we can't approve them. Alas, that is sad. Financial report, Molly.
Yes, can you guys see me on this screen?
No, you're black.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My video says it's going, but I can't.
That's fine.
I'm not sure why that is right now.
Fine.
So apologies for that.
Very convenient.
Right, right. I even put mascara on, so
Wow.
totally wasted. I'll try to work on that in a second, but I'm sorry I don't have a sheet that I've already posted for you guys on financials, but I did, Tony, I sent it to you just in an email right before this meeting. But basically what I wanted to just put together for this conversation today, I think, is what we collected, what was successfully collected on last year and what we spent money on, just in a broad sense. So as far as, spiritware we provide, I think basically as a service, that seems to be a loss, a small loss for us, only because it costs processing fees to accept those Squarespace payments for the spiritware.
We made about $1,000, give or take, off spiritware.
Okay, is that after you pay those Squarespace fees?
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, you have to look at the actual vendor based upon. So the fees we're paying is off our retail value, and then there's the vendor price we pay, and we make money on almost every piece. And
Okay.
except later in the year when we're not ordering as much, we tend to have to pay higher prices. So, but yeah, it was probably $1,000, give or take.
Okay, so maybe we should.
I can give you kind of
Yeah.
and show you how to get to all that.
Okay, so I probably need a little bit more guidance maybe in that realm.
Okay.
But essentially, as we're looking at, I guess, right now our bank account has $8,000 in it. And we had a couple great, we funded, and just if you disagree with these, Tony, let me know, since you and I haven't gone over these, but it looked like we funded requests from the school for about $4,100 last year.
That and the 18,000 we just.
Right, and then we paid for the marquee for 18,000, right?
Let's say 22,000.
Sure. And then just, it probably costs us about $400-ish in operational expenses. And then we did a teacher conference lunch for, somewhere about $500 last year. So, and then with that, with incoming monies, that dining out with Drake earns us last year $1,900. We got Amazon Smile generated $370, Box Tops $30, and then memberships and general donations to the PTO came in at $1,400 for membership fees and $460 for general donations. And then for that sign campaign was $7,300. And then the auction being the leader at $13,200.
Okay.
So yeah, so just throwing that out there as I guess we planned for, I know this is leading into the whole fundraising for the next year. But it looks like, we have kind of, I guess, two main categories in requests and hospitality as pieces that we provide on an annual basis.
Yep.
And then spiritware we do, it seems pretty much just as a service for the community. And then whatever, I guess, what this year's marquee situation would be, could be a kind of a leading piece as to how we go about fundraising and what we're doing it for, if there was something that could be addressed in that way, as an event or an item to focus those efforts towards.
Cool. I can, when we get into the general fundraising discussion, I can set kind of some historicals and some guiding information so that we stay on track with kind of how it's gone in the past and where money is spent. All right, is that it?
That is all I have for now, yes.
All right, and we'll move on to Mindy. Anything since last week, or anyone that wasn't at last week's general meeting update?
Yeah, I mean, something we were talking about when these guys came in, that's kind of a hot topic right now is, well, behaviors just in general. You probably saw the email from the superintendent and our safety and security. It came out yesterday afternoon, I think.
Mindy, you're kind of cutting in and out from me. That could just be me, though. I don't know if that's happening to other people. This is Sage. Sorry.
Sage, sorry. Am I cutting out for the rest of you? Holly, I can see your face. Am I cutting out for you? She says she can hear me.
Yeah, not cutting out for me.
Okay, so it might be your connection, Sage. Sorry.
Also, put on your mic on mute when you're listening, because the background noise will cut out your mic. Will cut out the thing. So.
All right. So what I was saying mainly is that we're having some behaviors, and it's actually a nationwide thing. I had a meeting with the superintendent today. Not that you guys need to know this, but I'm the JCAA president for the district, which is the Administrators Association. I'm the president-elect, so I meet with the superintendent monthly. And we were talking about just, this is a nationwide thing. Students are, it's like we forgot how to act, right? We were home kind of on our own for a year and a half, and everybody had different situations in their homes, and we forgot how to act. And we have all these kids new to middle schools, new to high schools, that maybe weren't even emotionally ready, right? And so we're seeing a ton of behaviors, a ton of disrespect, I would say. Teachers are struggling with classroom management, a little bit of defiance, and all that fun stuff. So we're trying to figure out what to do. That attempt from the district, that email was just an attempt to kind of keep parents in the loop. I can tell you that as an administration team, we're cracking down. If you're breaking a rule of the code of conduct, we're suspending kids, because we're not going to tolerate fighting or vaping or anything like that, obviously. So we are cracking down on suspensions here to try to just send the message that we won't tolerate this kind of behavior at Drake. So that's kind of like the big hot topic. And you'll probably see more. We're obviously doing some preventative work as well. And I asked my school resource officer to maybe put together, and this was based on what you guys said to me at the meeting last week, put together just some presentations for both parents and students around sexting, vaping, like the effects and what happens legally if you're caught at school with a drug, or if you're selling a vape at school, you can be ticketed by law enforcement. You will be. So we're putting together kind of a presentation on some of the hot things that I want to remind you, 2% of the population is doing these things, right? But it's still 2%, and kids are seeing these things happening. So we're putting together some proactive kind of presentations just to educate our families and our students. What else? That's fun stuff. And you saw the TikTok thing that I sent out maybe in the deeds. So there's a TikTok trend nationally where they're destroying school property and then putting it in the toilet. So that's fun too. We have not locked down our bathrooms here at Drake. I don't think we need to, like a lot of high schools. If you have kids in high school, that's what they have done. And we're just monitoring it more closely. We've implemented a sign in, sign out, like old school elementary when you go to the bathroom, so I can track who was there. And maybe it'll limit the amount of times they need to go to the bathroom because they don't want to sign in, sign out. So we're trying to do a few things to clean those things up. But that's it, different from everything else we talked about, I'd say, last week, and most of you were there. Any questions about that? Good times. Okay. That's it for me.
Cool. On the marquee, I did have a question. Are you feeling more and more well-versed on the use of it and how to implement different graphics and things if we need to schedule things? Someone else?
Sure. I mean, I'm the only one that has learned it. I didn't want to put it on anybody else's plate. There is a webinar that they sent me to watch to do kind of more of the advanced stuff. I watched it until I knew how to put, a date on there. Sure. I mean, so no, I guess I'm not like, here's where I'm struggling. I don't know how to change the pixels and all that to make it look super crystal clear on the marquee. Like if somebody were to give us their logo, you've seen maybe the image. Did you see the book image I put in there? I mean, that's just a Google image. It doesn't look awesome, but it doesn't look terrible. I know how to do that. But that's about it. So if anybody wants to
I would love to
maybe watch the webinar and help teach me, I'd love it.
send it. I'd love to help.
Okay.
Mainly I ask that so that we can start leveraging it as a fundraising
Yes.
tool, and think of ideas around that, but I'd like to know what the capabilities are of it before we start brainstorming all these great things.
Right.
And it's not do.
Yeah, I love that idea. Like a business could donate $100 and we'll put their logo on there.
Birthdays,
Yep.
you
I
know,
love it.
morning drop-off birthdays, things that can be a constant, ongoing source of low-cost revenue that can come in. And
I love the idea for birthdays, and that I know
birthdays,
how to do. That
graduation,
takes
special
me,
events.
yeah, two
Yeah.
seconds.
Okay.
So maybe I'll send you that webinar.
Yeah, send it
And
to
you
me and
can-
I'll look up, let
Yeah.
me just know, and then I can, just because I work around the graphics.
Yeah, you know how to do that stuff. I
Not,
don't.
not especially, but maybe I can figure out.
Mindy,
Yeah.
I'm happy to learn it too. I work in tech IT, so I can learn it if you need another person.
Yeah. Is that Sage that's talking?
Yes.
Okay. I will send it to you and Tony, and you guys can watch, and then, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to have you guys help me figure it out. I just haven't had the time, honestly.
Yeah.
I needed to know how to put words on it, and I figured that out. I do know how to schedule, though. I
Okay.
learned that because I scheduled Mona's birthday on that.
Cool. All right.
I have a question back to the TikTok bathroom or the vaping thing.
Yes.
So the rumor on the street is that anywhere from 20 to 5 girls got suspended for that.
That is
Was
not
it-
true.
Okay.
That is not true. It was just a couple of kiddos.
Well, one of my 8th graders that I drive, he said, yeah, it was like 20 kids. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Well, I'm going to get to the bottom of that one.
No, that was not true.
Okay.
A couple of students have been.
20 sounded like a lot.
20 is not true. That is not true. And they weren't even, it's not like they were smoking or anything here at school, but there was an exchange. So that's what
Ah.
I'm looking for. Between
These rumors just run rampant.
rumors, yep. Glad I could clear it up. You tell your wife.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Mindy before we move into present business? No? Okay. So present business, at the general meeting, I really had the wrong information. I had April for the dine out night. This is correct. And then I thought it was last Saturday.
Yep.
And then I figured out that it's this Saturday. And it is at the Wadsworth bypass, kind of across the parking lot of Lowe's. It is not overly convenient to our matriculation area, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Chipotle isn't allowing dine outs at the one down the street. They're not even taking online orders anymore.
Because they're short-staffed.
Short staffing issues and quality issues there. So Chipotle gave us this and it was too late to change. So we're going to promote this. We'll send out an email. Probably tomorrow I'll have Mona send one out. And then Drake Dietz on Friday, and then I'll have one, you guys to schedule one on Saturday.
Yep.
So that we hopefully can get, because we usually do really well at Chipotle, and really well means $300 plus. I don't know that we'll get there with this, but we'll encourage everybody to do it. All right. Next Saturday, 4 to 8. It's on our website. We'll send out the flyer. It's been in Drake Dietz. Next Saturday, September 25th.
Okay.
All right, so figure we can get the PFRs. I attached the two PTO funding requests to the email. One is from late or kind of March of last year that we put on hold till this year, and one is a new one. To give you kind of a frame of reference with these, we tend to look at these from a standpoint of, are they too specific to a particular class, teacher, or group? Are they a need that the teacher or the department may have budget for? Mindy is a great source of kind of giving us some background of whether it seems to be an appropriate funding for us to fund versus we don't just give out money just because they ask for it. We definitely look at, is it something the PTO should be helping with? Is it an underfunded or non-funded request? And is it kind of in our realm of, yeah, we probably should, or that's a nice to have for that department, so we may not. So the first one is from last year, and that's the one that was from Gina Nelson, who is the tech ed teacher. She has done a great job. We have funded about $500 to her for power tools. Tech ed being a very expensive department for equipment, and they use it as long as they can. And I know their budget is probably relatively average at best.
Yep.
One of the interesting things that came up last year was she was requesting $1,000 to purchase new bench vices, which is kind of one of the core pieces of the tech ed room. And she said many of the vices go back probably older than maybe even some people on the board, or definitely when I was a younger man. 30 years old, some of them. So she wants to buy some new ones so that she doesn't have to keep trying to fix some of them. Some of them just don't work anymore. And but they are very, very expensive. Heavy duty vices cost a lot of money. They're heavy metal and they're very, very expensive. So she was asking for $1,000 because each one is like $200 and something. So she's going to just buy a few of them to help replace ones that are just not repairable. So that was $1,000. And while this came in when we were trying to make money, and we agreed to the marquee, and now we have paid for that. It's a fairly hefty ask. We tend to not go all the way to 1,000 unless it's kind of an overarching school, like a projector for the auditorium for big meetings or walkie-talkies for the administration. But I'll throw that out there. This one is in our to-do, and we need to answer Gina, and she has not purchased, or that you know of.
That's what I was just texting my secretary
Okay.
to see.
If there has
I know
been
she bought a couple with her CTE funds. She gets funds for being a career and technical ed program. She's endorsed, but I don't remember how many she was able to buy.
Okay.
That's why I was just asking. So she did buy a few, but not nearly to what I think she needs. And of course, we have to, when we buy something like that, go through the district vendor to make sure they're the safest, right, with kids, but then they're always the most expensive too, so it doesn't help. But they are a key thing to tech ed.
kind of open thoughts on this particular funding request. What is everybody's thoughts of it, input? I think one thing we may want to do, since it is from last March, is maybe vote to approve it, but go back to her and say, what is it she really needs at this point? Because it may not be $1,000, it may be less.
I think if it's safety related, that would be approved, or move to approve.
Other thoughts for the amount for a particular classroom versus overarching school or anything of that? Any thoughts on that?
Don't really, the notion of the vice for that particular class seems very instrumental in the instruction that goes on there. So I guess I would be inclined to also say approve.
And the nice thing of, because it's an elective, the goal is that everybody will eventually have that class. So it should encompass all 950 kids. Should, over the 3 years.
Yeah, agreed. It seems like, I mean, Mindy, maybe even in a budgetary sense, that if you're going to have a class called tech ed and you need something to hold in a safety sense to continue operating that class, that would be pretty important.
Yeah, I think what she does now is they take turns. And so
Oh, gotcha.
around, they
Yep.
take turns with devices that work.
Yeah.
'Cause I've been in there recently and it's just, it's not as
Yeah.
convenient. So like, I can't work on my project until so-and-so's done with that.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be beneficial for sure.
Is anyone
think-
opposed to at least approving the notion of it? And I'll go back to her and ask for a more clarity on the number.
I'm totally okay with it. And I just kind of bounced the number off my husband. He's a woodworker and he says that seems kind of like in line with how much it should cost. They vary in quality. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. It seems like a basic need for that class.
Yep.
Well, we won't vote on the amount. I may do it through email just because we've approved the notion of it just as a general kind of head nod. Unless anybody opposed in here? No one opposed online, I take it? Okay. Yeah, I'll go back to Gina and ask her just kind of what she thinks she needs at this point that is within our means to help her with, and then I may send out an email for email approval to the board. Sound good? All right, and moving on, the one that we have received this year is a request from Andrew Yeager requesting 30 headphones to listen to Spanish videos, ed puzzles and such. We have received headphone requests in the past from Miss Vera and other departments. We have not approved funding because that is something that both the kids should have headphones and it should be within budget or the district to provide that. So it's not an extracurricular. So I'm trying to, that's where we have been in the past. Mindy, maybe you can provide clarity on whether this is too specific of a request or not.
Well, I mean, it's tricky, honestly, because yeah, that was on our school supply list, but first of all, not everybody can afford it, right? And so we can't, there's no way to mandate that everybody gets everything on the school supply list. And we usually cover for kids that don't. It's not a lot of money. They do have a budget Spanish, but it's like $300 for the whole year. And that's copies, that's everything. So they don't have a ton of money in their budget. So that would eat up half their budget. I don't know. I see where he's coming from because they do watch, I don't know if any of your kiddos have had Spanish yet, but they watch a ton of these like Senior Wooly videos, so they're hearing the Spanish language and then they work through like these programs where they listen and then answer comprehension questions. So it's really distracting if somebody's, 30 people are listening at a different time. Does that make sense? Because they're working through it. But I don't know. I mean, you guys, I don't want to be the decision maker.
Well, I think given background, that's good. I did look at the link that he put in his request. And this would be outside of the normal, they don't have, we would give him a check and he would buy it. So it's kind of him buying it for the students, but us paying him back, not the school. So it wouldn't go through purchasing
Okay,
PAU.
okay,
Because this is an amount based on an Amazon link.
yeah.
And I think it actually gets 50 headphones, and I don't know, I doubt they're very good quality, but
But he'd
With-
at least have some on
with
hand.
50, yeah, he could.
Pass out and check out to kids.
Discussion on
I
that?
mean, $130 isn't that much money. And it does get a 50 pack. I don't know.
Is-
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, let's just honor them for wanting to help.
Filling out the
form.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, historicals are, just so you kind of get where, we will get a lot of these. So, and a lot of them will be in specific departments. We will run into giving too much money to one department, can't do it. So we have to spread our funds equally. This is the beginning of the year, so it's sort of like, yeah, it makes sense. It does, just so you guys know, kind of in the past, you know, drama is very good about asking for money. Lots and lots of money, but we don't tend to fund much of it. We fund some and then we move on to another department. So, does somebody have the Amazon link open on their computer on the online? Anybody?
I'm muted. Hi. I do.
Can you tell me, what is the user reviews fairly high overall? You don't have to read the individuals, but how many stars does that product get on Amazon?
Yeah. So just as I said that, I closed it. Sorry.
I just want to know how many user reviews and what is the overall rating?
So 1,385 ratings, and it got like solid 4 stars. So
Okay.
it's very well rated. Yeah. 57% of the ratings are 5 stars.
If someone just needs to make a motion to approve this, and then somebody needs to second, and then we'll vote. So a motion? Motion to approve from Shanna, a second.
No second.
Second from Sage.
Yo, secondo.
Yo.
You might need to take Spanish.
Uh-huh.
I think that's dose, just a solid dose.
Just a solid dose.
I like
All
secondo.
all those in favor, either put your thumbs up or wave. All those opposed, put your thumbs down. I see no thumbs down. I see a lot of, I mean, I can't really see. All right, we will approve Andrew Yeager's request. Molly, next time you're in, we need an amount. I would say with tax, I would say we approve it. I would modify our approval to $150 to allow for any tax that is included. Is that adjustment okay with everybody?
Yes.
150? Okay. Would that makes most sense to just make it out to him and just tell him to buy it?
I think,
'Cause-
because you guys don't have an
Right.
Amazon account.
No, we won't, but we don't buy things. We have reimbursed teachers in the past. We just give them a check. Put it in the
Fine,
mailbox. Okay.
fine with me.
Molly, I'll let Andrew know that we approve it. He can go ahead and buy it, and then we'll just, next time you're at Drake, leave a check for $150 made out to him in his mailbox.
Will do.
Thank you. That's it for the PFRs this month. We will again continue to put it out in Mindy's communications to the staff, and maybe we'll get some more in the door. All right, next up, parent-teacher conference meal. At the general meeting, we decided on a breakfast on Thursday. That's coming up. Thursday would be October 6th. 7th, of course.
Yes, virtual.
Yeah, it'll be The conferences are virtual, but we're
Oh,
providing,
it was,
a meal here, right?
what?
We're providing a meal here, right?
Yes, we have a work day that
Okay.
day. And
So
so
people-
we thought, you know, they'd be done with conferences 2 long nights in a row, and then we meet at 8 AM for staff development. So we thought a breakfast would be a nice way to treat them instead of dinners. October 7th in the morning, 8 AM probably.
So Carrie said she would help you, Katie, because you kind of are heading that up, right? And we won't be doing, don't think we're going to be asking for, we're not doing any potluck sign up like we would in past years with our meals for the night. Since we're going virtual, this will be a funding and a purchase. So since it is before our next meeting, could you just find the best options for, and I know we need to try to do it as healthy, COVID kind of specific as we can. So if there is box versions or something that affects them. Yep.
I think we had talked about doing burritos.
Yes, burritos. Thank you.
Everybody loves burritos.
Yeah, burritos and coffee kind of thing.
Which Katie, if you want to, I can, since I have the card, if I could help out or order them and pay for them and streamline that in any way, I'm happy to do that.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect.
If you would find out amounts so we can just get it approved by the board.
And where,
Santiago's is always a good one. They can do bulk and usually pretty easy to pick up. There's one down near Ralston and Independence, so they're close.
by that Walmart.
Yeah, but Santiago's is probably one of the easier ones.
Molly, do you remember where we used to get them at Fairmount? For the pancake breakfast?
Oh, I do not.
I don't either.
Well,
I
if
can
you
ask
wanna
Callie.
Email Katie, but otherwise we'll just,
Okay.
if you know of a place too.
Yeah, or you know somebody that owns a place. and
Are
we
we
can
at
support them.
80? Or should we figure on 80, give or take?
Yeah, you could do a few less because my paras aren't.
So 70?
75,
Okay,
probably.
So 75. Starbucks, they oftentimes will
They'll do
donate
that
it for
for-
half of, just
for
need to
free.
contact them and then we probably can buy like Costco orange juice. If you, or a Sam's Club, whatever. So if you could just give us a amount you think it's gonna be so we can. Okay.
Getting things done.
Check it off. Other upcoming school events, dates, and involvement. No, Carrie.
No,
Edwards.
Carrie Edwards.
Does a lot of other community stuff, other organizations, I'm sure. Other upcoming school events and dates and involvement. Do we have anything? What do we have? That's kind of general.
So, well, our big things coming up, we have obviously conferences, but that's all virtual. We have the book fair coming up, but that's like next week or 2 weeks. The next big night event, sorry, I'm looking at my master calendar up here behind you, is our 5th grade parent information night. That should just be on your radar. It's December 1st. It's a ways away, but I know PTO likes to be a part of it and talk about their role in the school. But really, other than that, we don't have a ton. Well, no. I mean, there's like vocal performances and band nights, the play. Musical.
In the past few years, and just to wrap out the year, we have done a holiday teacher appreciation. We do it in May as well, but we do one kind of each half of the year. We did that, and oftentimes we make it into a multiple day. I think last year we delivered, did we do multiple days or was that teacher appreciation?
That was teacher appreciation week.
But I think we did something, yeah, we did, didn't we do Subway one? Yeah, we did in the winter, we did Subway one day and then we did something another day and then we did it the gift.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Yeah, so my point is that the next big kind of PTO oftentimes does that. We just have to say, yeah, we're gonna do it again, and we can start in on that'll. Yeah, we had an amount. Yeah. So that'd be for the biggest discussion will be about how to raise money, but is everybody on board with doing a teacher appreciation around the holidays, kind of leading into usually it's a week before the last week of school, before the holiday break.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I want to see one of us just say, no, no.
Screw the
if
No,
they would
we don't
just
want to do that.
I'll dissent,
So
just to offer up counterpoint. Mindy doesn't get anything, just so
No,
you're clear,
that's
yeah.
fair. I've been slacking this year, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll
think
plan on
that's
that. We'll set up, we don't have to set up a committee right now, but we can, we'll get into fundraising. Just to update you on Carpool Buddies. We do have about 30 people on our Carpool Buddies list. It'd be great if more people would look for the opportunity and use it. Just put their names and get access to the sheet so they can see if they can find someone.
What if we put it out again, because the transportation, it might not have been impacting all of you, but there's been daily bus cancellations happening, and so I'm wondering if more and more
Maybe
people are
we-
looking for carpool.
Yeah, maybe we do need to do a bigger push to,
I think with the transportation
yeah,
stuff.
Drake Dietz, maybe we could put it on in the morning, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Ooh, I could put
want
it
to
on
find
the
a
marquee.
carpool, go, go to drakepto.com and we have it on our front page to email this person.
Yep.
Yeah, the marquee would be great as they're all sitting on that.
Yeah, they come in like you want to, want to try and find a
Sick of
carpool.
sitting in the car, in the drop-off lane.
Okay.
That can be my message.
Signs at the bus stops that get canceled.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Marquee and Drake Dietz are really our best, and then they'll be on our website. But I think the marquee will be, yeah, just to send them to a link so that they can then email. Maybe while they're sitting there, they're like, I hate this. I'm emailing this person right now. And what they do is they fill out a Google form, and it
And
goes
get
to,
access.
yeah, it goes to the organizer who puts them on the list and then gives them access to a Google form that has everybody. And then we are out of it. We don't connect people other than create a list.
Right, exactly.
All right. 1:30, we usually go till 2-ish or a little after. But the big discussion that I want to have today is about fundraising, and being that the majority of everyone on the board is new, and last year was a remote year. I want to both give you some past and kind of the historicals on what we do and what fundraising in middle school looks like, and especially Drake Middle School, and then give you a little bit of kind of guidelines to stay within, but then I want to have an open discussion about and thoughts and kind of brainstorm around what we can do, and what are some new ideas of fundraising, or what do we want to do even if they're not. So the historical with both middle school fundraising and Drake are, about 2 years ago when I came into 2.5 years ago when I came into working on the PTO, they were still very much doing butter braids and smoothies, and they did raise some money from those, but those are they were hanger-ons from elementary school. And elementary school is a very, as we all know, and those of you who are new to Drake for the first time, elementary is very hands-on and middle school is not. and involvement from parents drops to single digits no matter what you do. So what we find is that we have to be, asking for money has become the preferred method. Just, hey, we're doing a teacher appreciation. All the money goes to helping us appreciate the teachers. Please give money. We raise literally double, triple, quadruple the amount that we would ever raise from butter braids, which we may make $700 on a lot of work and delivery of butter braids. In middle school, in elementary school, it could be a few $1,000s. So the other consideration that I impress upon, I know on this current kind of setup of board, there's a lot of Fairmount parents. And I come from Fremont, the Allendale neighborhood. Katie comes from more central Denver and Choiceton. But Drake is, and I don't want to come across as brusque, but Drake is not Fairmount or Western. It is a mixture of a lot of socioeconomic groups, and what works where there's money doesn't always work here. And what seems like a little amount of money to some of us is an average amount of money to some of us at Drake, and a lot of money to some of us at Drake. So when we think of fundraising, $5 and $1,000 can be equal depending on the household it comes from. So we want to be cognizant and considerate of those with Drake. And Mindy, you could give just a general kind of breakdown of what you see socioeconomic, also ethnicities, just in general. So we know that we're not coming from, we have a lot of homogenous schools in elementary because we're smaller groups. And Drake is the first step to becoming a much more multi-ethnic as well as multi-economic school. And then when you get into high school, it's even more so. So.
Yeah, no, Drake is actually
So,
really diverse.
if I can just add one thing. So I grew up in this area. So, and I think
You gotta speak up a little bit.
I think a lot of people might have, so I grew up in this area. It's been a while, but this area used to be more on the upper end of the economic scale, but it's not anymore. So I think people may still have the perception that it is, but it's actually changed. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, Drake is actually super diverse. I think that's what makes it really special school. And diversity, not just in ethnicity or cultural diversity, but we also have financial diversity, right? We're up to 25% free and reduced lunch. That's a fourth of our kids, right? And if a fourth of 1,000 is 250 students that are coming from poverty or poverty type situations. So yeah, we do have a lot of families that are struggling economically and financially right now, if that helps. But our number, I think when I started, it was 18%, and it's already jumped to 25. So, and part of it could be pandemic related too, but yeah.
And that being said, I would also add in that, in my professional life, I go where the money is, and the money is definitely the more affluent areas in our matriculation area. And so I could say my experience has been there's, less than 20% of the parents of Drake support 90% of our fundraising, I would say.
Yeah, no,
take.
that's probably
And it's just because that's where,
people that can. And
that
then
can
people
and
want to
that
help.
are used to it and have a little bit more. That said, I've always wanted, since I've been with the PTO, to expand our reach, not for money, but just to engage. And fundraising can be a version of that, so can outreach and ambassadorship. But fundraising is really what I'd love to think about doing, and also amount of effort versus what we have in return, and what is possible given COVID, right? Because we're going to be in COVID for a while longer, definitely, and we need to consider that in where we put our time and effort and what we get back for it, and where sort of like we used to do smoothies and they did okay. And it was a fun thing to do for the students. Not really appropriate right now with COVID. So that said, I'll open it up with those kind of background and guidelines for any questions and or general thoughts of people fundraising ideas and such that we could consider.
So just have a question. I think you make really valid points. Based on the requests that have come in maybe over the last couple of years, because last year might have been weird. Well, this year's weird too, but the dollar amount that we're typically seeing in need is what? Like, what would be our goal if we were looking at total? Because at the beginning we talked about what, 22,000? And so what's the dollar amount goal that we're shooting for?
To raise, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, like how much money are we wanting to raise to give as a starting point?
Well, so that's a good question. I would say that it'd be great to have all the money in the world and fund everything we can.
Yeah.
We get funding requests are new in the last 2 years since I came on the board. Previous to that, it was sort of like whoever happened to walk in the door and get there first got money. And it didn't really have fair and equitable aspects to it. So I would say it literally is everything from $50 to $5,000. And we can't, my response to that would be, I want to make as much possible money as possible and give it all back to the school. That being said, I would say an average year is about $10,000.
About 10. And do we get requests for like 20? Like just a ballpark?
No,
Like
I would say 500 or less.
The marquee, I think, was one of the biggest fundraiser asks that we've ever done. I mean, the year prior though, we did do the outdoor seating too.
Yeah, but that was existing funds. So we have two things. We have not really taken on big PTO focused single things because there is so much need in a school this size. It'd be better to piece it out at $500 or $50 or $1,000 increments than 18,000. That being said, the marquee had been on the books for well before Mindy and had come up every year for years and years. Everybody talked about how the marquee was never affordable and just so happened to become affordable with the help of both the school and the PTO. So I would say we don't try to get one thing for the school because the school in general, there is so much underfunded and non-funded need across the school for the staff and the school alone that we can spend all our money in the funding requests and not always and then when we do ask, we tend to ask for money for teacher appreciation so we can we're not going to use the money that we raise in fundraising towards that. That is sort of, hey parents, appreciate your teachers, will be the mechanism to appreciate them for you. Give us your money, we apply it to gift cards, give it to the teachers. Or, so that's kind of the fundraising money tends to go back into, and any leftovers from our big ask campaigns for teacher appreciation or marquee go back into funding requests, things of that nature.
Okay. And then are there rules around, and I don't know what the probability of this is, but we have a lot of local businesses that are close around this area, and to get like the sponsorships, are there rules around like sponsorships from organizations?
A couple things with that. First is I believe we try to keep our fundraising, I'll have to look back through our bylaws, under 25,000 or 50,000, 25.
I think it was 25.
Because of tax issues. So it takes us into a much more complex tax area with a nonprofit if we go above raising a certain amount of money, or, yeah, that we raise over 25,000. Sponsorships, no, there's no real severe guidelines with it.
No.
It's just, we don't really have a lot of ability to offer a lot for sponsorship. We've talked a lot about, athletic events, maybe doing stuff along the fence, but you can't put anything on the fence. Jeffco has guidelines with the ability to put stuff out, right?
I thought I could put stuff on the fence.
I don't remember, you
I
had,
looked into it.
yeah, but anyway, it's kind of like, we have looked at sponsorships for, it'd be great if somebody wants to take it on and make it real. We just haven't had any success as to being
Yeah.
able to offer something of value for the sponsorship.
Mhm. And I'm sorry, the 25,000 is in whole or for a singular
Now,
Like-
it's what we raise, yeah, overall.
overall? Okay,
I think it just, we can go over it, then we start paying money to make money, because we have to
Okay.
pay for an accountant, we have to pay for tax
Got it.
preparation.
okay,
There's a whole different category with
okay.
501c3s that have to do with once you go over certain. it's
Okay,
just-
so our goal is
Yeah.
to stay under 25.
Yeah, it's sort of simplicity.
Okay, that's, yeah, okay.
It might have been the payout.
There was something about 25.
Yeah, it was some.
We
there's-
could look
yeah.
into it, but there
Yeah.
were some rules.
So you also mentioned that a very effective way has been to ask for money. So how often does that happen?
It never happened before, but
But I mean,
except
like,
membership, and
somebody-
since I've been on the board, I have asked 3 times. One at teacher appreciation when COVID hit and we went full remote back in March of
And
2019.
I went and delivered gifts to all the
Yeah.
houses.
Once for teacher appreciation when we were all remote over holidays last year, and once for the marquee. So we've done it 3 times. I would estimate we've probably raised $15,000 that way. It's by far and above the most quickest way to raise a few $1,000s to make something like
Happen.
appreciation happen that
Yeah.
is worth, that's kind of has some perceived value.
I feel like you can definitely do that
Yeah,
every year,
right.
at least, if not. Trimester possible, I don't know. but that
We
would
did
be
a couple
too much.
times last year, made
Yeah.
lots of money.
But I think if you're very targeted
Yep.
on, like, okay, we want to raise this money for participation, and then have a big fund for that, so that you can maybe, if it goes over the amount that you were looking for, then use it for other ways to do the teacher participation, like the breakfast or whatever. But if that's an effective way of fundraising, I think we should do that.
Yeah, let's keep it going, yeah.
Yeah, and just be very strategic about how often you do it. You don't want to be spending like every month, obviously, fundraising, but there are people who miss the first one or who can't at the first one.
Yeah,
Who
who
might
can
want to,
another.
and then it doesn't make it so that someone who gives $5 is different. from someone who gives 500.
Exactly.
Like, it's all appreciated, it's all.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and that is not a way to discriminate at all.
Yeah.
You can, even $5 helps.
yeah, exactly. So just being very targeted though on what you're asking for, because I do think people will give more readily if they know what. the
Where
money
it's
is
going.
for.
Yep.
You're gonna raise a lot more money than doing an event or selling butterbean. So-
Yeah.
The, as a, just add on to that, when you do targeted asks, the money needs to go to that. It's hard to, not hard, it is, there is usually some left over because you spend a certain amount, but when we did teacher appreciation, it was like whatever we raised, we divided into what we give back to, like the teachers was, we raised that much money, so we're giving them $45, wasn't it?
was
a
awesome.
gift card.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was awesome.
They were so appreciative.
It was,
Yeah.
and boy, yeah, the response was great. But I wonder if there is a general ask at some point, some way to put it around the funding request that we say, hey, in a year, we did all this last year. We need to refill our coffers.
Right.
And we're going to have a lot of these sorts of things come in, and we list out everything we paid for last year, amounts, and say, this is our ask this year's due.
Right. Then it needs to be directed to grades.
Yeah, right, yeah, it's sort of, because it's, in the years past, it's been the marquee. Give us money for the marquee, give us money for teacher appreciation. We haven't said, give us money so we can give back as a general, but you're right, targeted is key. I'd love to use it maybe once, just to make some money into help with PFRs.
And I think that's.
How about on the computer? It's easy for us to talk a lot here, but let someone on the computer talk.
I think the general ask is great. And I think folks that, you know, maybe are used to doing those donations too, are willing to, and maybe we just put the story behind it. Like you were just saying, Tony, of like, here's what we were able to do last year. Here's our, you know, here's our intent, or here's what we're really wishing to do for the teachers this year, or for the students. Put more of a story behind it too, and then folks kind of get maybe motivated, you know, to understand where the money goes, or where it's been, and where we want to put it. I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point.
I agree.
And I like the idea too of, you know, you can donate the $500 or you can donate the $5, like every dollar counts.
Yes.
Because sometimes I think people are really surprised by people's donation behaviors if they know what it's going to.
Mhm, for sure. I also think sponsorships and like selling the marquee, like you said, a birthday
yeah.
slot. We can't forget that. That's easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Mm.
cost us anything.
We should put together
Yeah, Mindy, I totally agree.
of just a marquee committee that maybe
Yeah.
Sage and I can learn the ins and outs for how we could use it through you guys.
Yeah.
And then as a group, we can figure out, because that's, again, I think of lower effort, high return. We all
Yeah.
are busy, and we all did we paid our dues with selling crap and
Yep.
butter braids and wrapping paper. And I think I want to put my efforts into helping the school in a year that we're probably not going to be able to do as much for the kids as we have in the past.
Yep. Yep.
Because we oftentimes did group things, but I don't know if that's going to happen
No.
this year so
No.
far.
No.
Well,
Um,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
With sponsorship stuff too, we're new here and also my son's new to Fremont, but I have seen there are signs of different people who have sponsored on
The fences.
fences, yeah.
Mhm.
So, and if you can, I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure how much it costs to make one of those little banners, but they seem to have their PTO very, very organized as well, and they have like a whole list of things you get if you are sponsored. So I'm not sure how much, but I'd be happy to find out.
Sure.
Yeah,
them
if we
and
could see if they have something already created, why
Yeah,
not replicate it?
Exactly.
And then I'll find out for sure which fences, but I'm pretty sure I asked. And I think especially the fence that is just on Drake property right here along the sidewalk. I mean, we could put banners there. I know cars would block it in the hug and go, but as you drive by, you see that fence area.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
we
we have a ton of sports that rent our fields. You know, so even the fence along here, we could put it.
Yeah.
And
And the
that's-
marquee, I mean,
There's a lot of thousands, as we know,
Yeah.
people come through here on a
the
daily
cycling of the marquee alone, especially on like
Yeah.
weekends.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like weekends, you get to do heavy rotation of
yeah.
sponsor names of just, because it's just traffic driving by,
Yeah.
you know, and that road gets people driving nonstop,
Yeah.
you know, it's not. packed,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not-
I think people would want to advertise on that.
Yeah, just to say, you know, whatever.
Right.
Um,
And then a
So-
simple $20 birthday message or something, if you want your kid's
Yeah.
birthday posted all week. I mean, it takes me 2 seconds to
Yeah.
to do that on my.
So would this all be organized in the same sort of framework as what we would have done the virtual auction with, like that silent auction? So like a line item for buy your kid's birthday shout out, or, you know,
Yeah.
buy this sort of sponsorship slot, and, you know, Tandy could log in, you know, she could buy that, and it could be sugar bugs. Like, would it be that same web format?
Yep.
Or like just pick your donation, $500 to $500 or whatever it is. I'm just trying to
Have
figure
you
out
have
the
an event
platform.
Where they can buy those things, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the platform. Like, is it the auction platform or what?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No,
Yeah.
we could just do it through our online store. I mean, we can do it all. The immediacy
Oh,
of having
okay.
it digitally, they can just purchase it there and then we would just implement it on our site. So, yeah, we would just add it to our online store and use that platform since we have it existing.
Got it.
So
So
that's-
conceivably, you could have like 15 birthdays in the same day.
yeah, I mean, we would probably we could,
Yeah.
I think once we learn what is possible, we can limit it.
You can have 25 things, I think, or something.
Yeah,
It's
but I mean,
crazy,
it's like
but-
to
Okay,
get what
okay.
they need and really, once people find out about it, who wants to do it, and I think we just that's kind of trial and error, but I think it could turn into a consistent amount of money, some money.
Yeah.
So then when do we kind of figure out how much does a birthday cost? How much does a signage sponsorship cost?
Well, maybe we just start with it with a mixed demographic. Maybe we look at making it lower, right? Instead of a $20 birthday, it's $5 or $10. I don't know how many people are going to flock to it. And then also I'm wondering, like, are people aware of the online store, the ease of doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're new, right? I mean, I'm just speaking for myself for sixth grade, right? I'm new. I don't even know how to go about doing that. Oh, I think I saw that on the website, but a constant reminder of like the online store and, oh, and by the way, you can get your logo wear and you can get your, how do we get into the homes?
I think we can,
I suppose just
there's
be
a
a
couple
deep.
steps that we need to do. We need to learn what's possible,
Mhm.
kind of the technology,
Mhm.
that can be done relatively quickly. Then I think we need to figure out what are the things that are appropriate for that aren't doing too much. I'd say come up with a few things to do and do them well.
Yeah.
And then see, I don't think sponsorships, the issue with sponsorships is getting them. It's going out.
Well,
out in the
and
street getting
and the logo. We don't know how logos act with the marquee.
Yeah, but it's the sales. It's as with any business, it's the sales. It's getting.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to get on Great Beats and say, "Hey, you want to do your birthday? Put it on the marquee. Wish your child happy birthday. Go to greatpto.com and buy a slot." So maybe we start out with birthdays and awards, whatever, and do it well and see how it works, and then expand from
Well, even the sponsorships, though, I know that we have a lot of families that own businesses in this community or have friends that own businesses. So even just starting in the deets and not soliciting,
Yeah.
but just saying, hey, here, we're offering sponsorships, just trying, like, again, it's like an ask, and we might get a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A couple business
I agree.
a year. It's a couple $100.
But they might bite if they could
Yeah.
hang a banner or put it on the marquee. You don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
You're always gonna make the most money from individuals, but if
Yep.
you're individuals who own businesses. then
Yeah, and I know we have
you-
several people that do.
Yep. So
I guess more what I was asking, and I didn't ask it very well because I'm kind of dumb. But are we gonna just focus this on, like, the auction was supposed to be October 18th through the 22nd. So are we gonna do the same sort of like this ask period for this, shooting for the same sort of thing, or is this just gonna be an ongoing kind of thing throughout the year?
Yep, I see what you're saying. now.
Or is it gonna be like a targeted, like, CPR radio donation drive?
Oh, I see. I would say that.
Right.
I would suggest we do an ask for the end of the holiday season, and we do that in November, starting in November into the beginning of December. But the marquee and the ongoing stuff, we just need to get in process and
Get a
it can be
process together.
always on, sort of like we do with Dragon Gear. It can be
Got it.
an
Okay.
ongoing. I don't think, yeah, because it's always available, right? So don't,
Sure.
yeah, but the ask, I would say, we just need to plan on what and we can, I think the October meeting is a perfect meeting to say, okay, this is the meeting we talk about teacher appreciation for the end of the year or the holiday season, not the end of the school year. What are the dates? Who's on the committee? What are we going to do? When do we do an ask? What are the,
Mhm.
so October is kind of the best time to do that one. But this marquee, which if we can get it going, could start to roll in, a few $100 here and there. I think if we can just get it going and see how it works and do it well, then
Hmm.
So
Then-
maybe that could be our focus for the fall and
Right.
early winter. And then maybe we look at something else in the spring and maybe we try to do the auction in the spring. I mean, who knows where we'll be with COVID? We could
Yeah.
even do it in person, which was our original
yeah,
goal.
right. We're gonna do it
3
at the
years
country
ago.
club. Yeah.
And it would have been awesome, so. It brought in a lot of money.
I have a personal ask for fundraising. I don't know how much it'll make, but I'd love to do it. I think it's also kind of a engagement thing. Is last year we did, one of them was the virtual bingo and trivia. We learned, Katie and I really figured out how to do it online, and everybody zooms in and we have a bingo and people buy cards and we gave the Amazon gift cards and we have trivia. It was fun. We kind of did it towards the end of the year, so we didn't have as much. Who did?
Sherry.
Oh, did she put a thumbs
Yeah.
up? I don't know. I don't think we know yet whether it can make very much money, but it's fun and it's something we can do without impacting the school from a COVID or bring people together, because we've learned how to do it digitally. We made a little bit, but we also we just kind of we did one and we really learned how to do it. And then we were going to do another one, but it was just towards the end of the year and everybody's done. And that's something that I would love to do, one this fall and one sometime in the spring. But and I can take that on as far as, but is anybody against that? I don't know why you would be. It doesn't, it literally costs, it's like, I think we bought $200 or $300 in gift cards, and I think we made maybe $100, and that's with paying out everything and everybody bought. And I think we had 40 people, but I think we could get more.
Yeah.
It's also what you're saying, your goal when you came on was to get more people involved.
Right.
And that's just one way, especially
Yeah.
during these
Yeah.
times.
To connect
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I think, last year everybody was tired at the end of the year of a variety of things. I think with new blood coming in and maybe in October, if I can get everything together, maybe towards the end, maybe around that week that we were planning on doing
Yeah.
the online auction.
Yeah.
And it is pretty fun. I mean, Katie and I both pulled our hair out a little bit trying to figure it out, but once we did it, it went off without a hitch, really.
Yeah.
Mindy didn't join though, because she's against gambling. She has a gambling problem. She doesn't do it enough.
And you guys trust me with the $4 million budget here.
Other general, I'm sure, I know you guys met for the online auction. Other ideas, we're just past 2. Just general ideas. I want to write them down of just thoughts of fundraising.
Somebody had some.
Somebody had some.
In the chat.
Oh,
Look at the email.
anybody have other fundraising ideas that are brilliant and perfect for middle school? That's not too much to ask.
Oh, you know what? I do have one thing, and I can't remember when it is, but we are hosting a robotics competition.
Mhm.
Miss Jones is, super into robotics, and our team. is going to be hosting, and she asked me if you guys might be interested in even having like concessions, like this will be all these teams from all over the
Oh, yeah, I went to one of
area.
those. Yeah.
And she was like, I wonder if PTO would want to partner with me and sell some, like, buy a bunch of Costco stuff and upsell it and make some money. I mean, that'd be a simple thing. I could also have kids leadership do it or something, but that was one other opportunity
Yeah.
to maybe get involved.
Well, when is it?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I'll look on, I have it.
let me know.
It's in December. I know my kid's doing it, but I don't have that. I think it's like December 12th, maybe.
December's a long ways
Yeah, December 12th sounds about right. But yeah,
Did you hear my voice go up really high? That means I
Yep.
don't know.
that means you're not confident.
And it is an all-day thing. My son did
Yeah.
it last year and at a
And
different
maybe,
school.
maybe you guys, that's not something you'd be interested in. I
Or,
don't know.
or I think it would be fun for a group that needs to raise money.
Mhm.
We would be happy to support them.
I think
maybe-
in leadership, like the kids,
Yeah, like they man it
that
and we
sixth period
provide.
class,
Yeah. Like, it'd be great
make the
to,
kids work, yeah.
yeah, help a group raise money that needs to raise it.
Yes.
And we can say, yeah, we'd love to do that. We'll give you $250 to buy the stuff, and then whatever you make is yours
Your
to
profit.
keep, because we just gave $250 for the stuff.
Yeah.
And that's yours, but you have
It's
to.
December 11th.
Saturday.
Saturday the 11th, that makes sense.
So, but those are great kind of suggestions on how do we get more engaged in the school, knowing that this is when parents and engagement drops.
Mhm.
How do we help the school staff and students in ways that are not what they were in elementary school and are definitely not going to be in high school? Which is that therein lies the biggest pickle. I think
Yeah.
I don't know that I have the answer, but the only thing I found is that asking for money is the best way to get money in middle
Yep.
school.
Yep.
By far.
I just want to second that I think dine out nights are pretty simple.
Yeah.
And that usually
Yeah.
is accessible to all families. too.
Yeah, I did mention that our dine out person is scheduling the whole year.
Awesome.
And so I think she's got 6 of them scheduled, so.
And those are a nice way to get.
Tony, what about Drake clothing? Are kids gonna start buying that, or when does that launch?
Yeah, we have a lot of naked kids. It's weird.
Yeah.
No, actually, I didn't put it, I just finished putting up everything today. I was gonna put out, so the store is open. And I'll do a hard launch Friday in Drake Dietz. And then we'll do an email next week saying, get your Drake Dragon gear, but all the stuff's up. So if you go
Even
to,
the hats?
I haven't ordered them, but I will.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't take much.
We're just getting one color though. Just
It's okay.
huh? We're not getting.
Hey, Sage just got to jump off. I'm at the vet, but I really enjoyed talking to you guys today, and let me know what I need to do for anything.
Thank you, Sage.
Thanks for joining.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yeah. So yeah, the Dragon gear has been updated with the latest styles. If you go to Drake PTO and go to our store, you can see them all. You can order, yeah, you can order as many socks. I think we have 20 pairs left, and God hopes we sell them this year. We gave away most of them, and we still have 20. I want socks gone. Yeah, no. So yeah, check it out. But yeah, you can order anytime. We'll put in the order probably later in middle of October, probably, because we'll probably get a lot of orders to start with. So anyone else? Courtney, Holly, I think are the only 2 left. No, Holly's trying to connect. Courtney, thanks for joining. I hope you're still listening or have us on.
Yes, thank you. I'm just listening and kind of getting a feel for what you guys do here. So thanks for letting me join you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we'll reach out if we would love to have your help on some of this stuff.
Yes, I definitely have time and availability. So let me know
Okay.
what you need.
Cool.
Thank
I might
you.
actually have Katie, Courtney. Maybe Katie can reach out to you. You could help her with some of the hospitality stuff for like parent teacher and stuff.
Sounds great. I'd love to help.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right, Holly, you're still
Bye,
trying
guys.
to connect, so we'll talk to you guys later.
Just in time for the bell.
So you're at Fremont.
Yes, this
Oh.
year new, we just got in like.
My wife is a
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. Front,
Okay.
see
I'll
her,
probably
if
have to talk to her
you go in
about
the front
that.
door, you see it. Her and Marina.
Oh, very good. So you went.
We did. We choice enrolled there, all three of us.
My kids went to Mickle John and then Westwood. So,
That we're Fremont. We choice enrolled there because we were in Allendale. Now you can't go down.
because it's closed.
It's closed.
Yeah.
And where do you live over there?
So we live just behind the Y. My kids are at Faith, and then my little guy has done kindergarten in Fremont, and then we did another year at Faith, and this is one of the good for him. And then
Fremont's been pretty good, hasn't it?
Fremont was amazing. Like we probably should have stayed there, but I am glad that he got another.
My kids did preschool, did the daycare and preschool through Sunshine Center, and then,
Yeah.
but then, yeah, we moved to Fremont. Yeah, my
Yeah, and
wife.
he loves it. Like my son, he loves.
Yeah,
live
it's
in
solid. The
Spring,
teachers are
Texas.
great.
Yeah.
The staff's great.
Kids who never
So
wanted to go to school
when
love school, and
we
you're
were-
part of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no,
originally
it's
we
been
were
good,
zoned for
so.
Mickle John, and
Look,
then
my
my
daughter's doing great. Your
son
kids are
was
doing
in
great,
fourth
so-
grade. They
Yeah,
switched
my
over
twins are,
I
to
know,
Westwood,
I know,
and we
so-
were
is
grandfathered
it,
in the community.
which I'm okay
I'll be
with.
back, but.
My
Right.
daughter
They're great.
stayed, wanted to stay at
Oh,
Mickle
yeah.
John. My son
It'll be a little bit.
switched
Yes,
to
it will.
Westwood.
Well, thank you for coming. I hope you keep,
Yeah,
keep
no,
coming.
I'd be happy to
Little more
find
kids
out
coming
like what I can on the
Because
side,
the
just to
Mickle
find
John
out
kids
what they
go
get.
to.
oh, yeah, and
Wayne
if you're
Carl.
feeling like
Oh,
it's
okay.
something I'm happy
Yeah.
to
It's definitely.
give complete ownership of that. to
Yeah, and they
someone.
had to.
Yeah.
Once we find out more about the
My
kids,
friend-
Yeah, no, I think
one
that's
of
a great
the
idea.
parts of
She was
it,
actually a teacher.
but just in general, it
Everyone
has,
was just-
you can
it sounded
imagine
ridiculous.
sponsorship. And
Who is your friend? That's a teacher?
my
Well, she's
brother,
not anymore. She was
he
for
has
1 year.
company that runs endurance races.
She was a
so
first grade teacher.
Okay.
So,
Really
which is,
familiar with
1 year was like.
sponsorship. It's the
Yeah,
biggest
it's
pain
a tough
point for
neighborhood,
every
yeah, for
organization
sure.
because they all want it.
For
So,
sure.
but,
Interesting.
I mean,
Always
I've
the
heard
same
they're both
thing.
at schools.
Oh, I was,
When you
as a
find
parent, I
them,
was hard.
Yeah.
It's just
Because
a
it's,
different
if you only get a
community, but
couple,
as a
it's
Yeah.
almost
parent, I
too
was
much
hard.
work. Like,
Right.
The
like
teachers
sugar
were
boats, she
great.
mentioned.
Oh,
sugar
yeah,
boats,
no,
like
because the daughter
candy,
trained everything.
like they always do, $100, we put them on the website and
Yeah.
there's not a lot you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was
It's
just
when it
very
gets up
cool.
to
Yeah.
the 500 or more.
I just think that kids are
You're like,
watching,
what are
kids
you
are
really
watching.
offering?
Everything.
And is
They're-
it just a
they're
banner
learning.
and a marquee?
Yep,
And-
they sure
And
are.
then somebody has to
So right.
find it.
You're so right.
It is,
So.
it's such a
Cool.
pain point
I
for
was gonna
that,
talk to him
only
about something.
because I have never found success with it or seen it.
Yeah.
So if you
It's
see
kind
something,
of like the race thing in my mind. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of
Fairmount.
everybody
That was
wants it,
directly,
Yeah.
west of
Yeah.
it,
but
right
you
at
have
the
to
base
have
of the
somebody
mountain.
that just
It's
loves
on,
rock south.
And I'm more in
It's
hospitality, but I would
west
still
of
find out like.
McIntyre.
Yeah, find out and see how they're
You know
doing
that area
it.
very
Yeah,
well?
see if it's
Yeah.
worth
If it's
It's
just
like
in them,
McIntyre
the
50, I
great
think.
thing is we do have,
Yeah. And they're actually, it's a diverse